Hello, welcome to an English sparkling with Tweedy video. Left it a bit late this evening, the sun has already set, it's got dark, so I've had to put on this bit of artificial lighting, which always makes matters more difficult. The third of that trio, if you can see the label, you probably can't. Is that any good? Probably not. The third of that trio from Winding Wood, that vineyard in West Berkshire, is it sort of Hungerford Way, something like that. This is the Demi Sec. So it's one of those slightly more old-fashioned, more traditional styles of traditional method sparkling wine. This was a more popular style of champagne back in the day with a much, much higher addition of sugar. It's sort of probably 30-something grams a litre of sugar added after that secondary fermentation has completed. And in fact, I haven't done my homework at all on the constituents of this wine, but I can't be bothered messing about. Just want to get on with this now. It's already a bit late in the evening. Haven't had my dinner yet. Almost like that line out of the Sweeney, isn't it? We're the Sweeney, son, and we haven't had any dinner. There is no point in commenting on the colour in these lighting conditions. Well, unsurprisingly, sweet sort of candied kind of nose to begin with, quite pleasant. And I suppose I'm getting more of a sort of Pinot kind of profile now. Didn't do my homework and didn't actually check the cepage. I'll put that on screen and I may well be talking nonsense now in terms of the fruit character, but it feels like it's more of a sort of Pinot dominant wine. So there's sort of stone fruit, a little bit of kind of dried fruit in there as well, which is possibly something I'm being led towards by the fact that it's a slightly sweeter style. So there's perhaps sort of apricot, peaches, that kind of thing. It is actually quite reminiscent of the sort of style that champagne seems to have to me these days. That's always more that kind of fruit, not so much of the fruit expression you get in English sparkling. And there is a nice patisserie sort of quality to that as well. Something from a French bakery, a pâtissière rather than a just boulangerie. Yeah, more like sort of sweet pastry things rather than just freshly baked bread. More croissant than baguette. But nice. Possibly a hint of orchard fruit there as well, maybe. Something very slightly appley or maybe even pear-like. Well, that's a pleasant start. Lovely texture to that. What a lovely balance as well. Fair amount of zing, quite mouth-watering, and then a backdrop of a honey-like sweetness. Was I saying something else was honeyed the other day? That's pretty nice. So I'm getting a sense of peaches with honey, pears with honey, possibly slightly baked pears, baked peaches, grilled peaches, slightly cooked fruit on the palate, not in a bad way, not in a cooked as in, you know, it's overdone. Really nice and fruity on the palate. Lovely texture. I love those fine bubbles. Was I saying about one of the others the other day that it sort of almost levitates, has this very sort of light effervescence to it? Not light as in a mild amount of effervescence, but the effervescence gives the whole thing quite a light texture, light mouthfeel. I think that's pretty good. I'm incongruously just about to have a glass of this with pizza, which is going to be a weird combination, but this is just what we happen to have to hand, and it was already in the fridge, and the pizza bit was a last-minute decision. Might be a strange combination, but that in itself, that is pretty nice. It is undoubtedly sweet, but that is nicely balanced by all of that acidity, and there's plenty of fruit character and interest there. Am I getting minerality there? I don't know if I'm getting minerality there. Perhaps that's a little bit lost in the sweetness, but that's fine. That's all right. It's a different style of wine. Minerality is something you tend to appreciate more in kind of dry, low dosage sort of wines. Interesting. Nice. Cheers.